It's been in my family since the 70s. I purchased it at the age of 15 years old. So this is our coffee bar back here.
I said, hey, if this is your dream, I will support you in doing it.
I mean, it's heaven in here. Hi, we're Josh and Carolyn, and this bus is Crown in Style. All right, so the front of the bus I wanted to keep really nostalgic, so when I replaced all of the gauges, I attempted to stay as, like error correct as possible. We did convert the bus over to a automatic, but I thought leaving the shifter in it kind of kept the vibe going of the old school. So I left that in here and then just put electronic keypad. I built a little shelf for it over there. All of these switches have been redone, but again, stayed with the same authentic look. This is the Crown defroster, which is pretty neat because they actually have their name embossed in it. Got the original steering wheel. We got mini split air conditioners, so we got a 12,000 here and a 12,000 in the back of the bus. It's also got heating as well in it. We took a old school like blue velvet seat out of an old motorhome and had it reupholstered to kind of stick with what we like, which is a little bit of a sleeker, kind of like this is my cockpit up here. We got a, I don't know, 7-foot long couch that flips over and makes a pretty good sized bed. It's also got storage underneath there as well as our diesel heater. And these are the vents for the diesel heater. They are actually the old speaker covers that were up on the walls that we repurposed for the grills, which was kind of neat. Built a fireproof area for the cubic mini stove, which we actually haven't ever used because the diesel heater works so amazing. But it looks cool, so we haven't taken it out yet. So this is our favorite part of the bus, and it's about a 7-foot long bar top. We have all of our panoramic windows right here. We get to sit here and we have our meals here, as well as, work on our computers or play on our computers. And it's spectacular. Sitting in the Tetons, having dinner, looking out is where it's at. Then you come down here. So this is our coffee bar back here. And we have a little light up sign in the morning. We get up pretty early, 4:35, and make our coffee. Fills the bus up with the aroma. Again, you get the view, the sunrise comes up. We grind our own beans, and it's really just a fabulous feel to the bus. It's an awesome vibe to enjoy coffee in here. So the wood is actually all made out of pine, and it's been killed by either the bark beetle or drought. And we epoxied it, so it's got a real hard ultra matte epoxy on it to kind of harden it because it is a soft wood, and it's the same wood we used up here as well as on the floor. We put the bar stools in here. We got these, I think, from Living Spaces, and they go up and down and they're kind of gas charged. So when we drive the bus, we actually take the pillows off the bed and we stick them in between here, and we lift the seat up and it locks them in place so they don't fly around while we're driving. So this bus is pretty special. It's not just a regular old bus to us. It's been in my family since the 70s. My grandparents converted this thing, and they had this grand 3.5-year trip planned. They traveled all through the United States, Alaska, Canada, and as far down in South America as they could go. Once the road stopped, they got out and would backpack all the way to the very tip of South America. So for 30 years they traveled in it, and as a kid I would go to their house, and the first thing I wanted to do, if the door was locked and I couldn't get inside, I was climbing underneath of this thing, just fascinated by it. So when my grandfather passed away, my grandmother wanted to get rid of it, and so I purchased it at the age of 15 years old, and I lived in it for just outside of the house as my own bedroom, and then I bought my own house, and the bus sat until I decided to reconvert it. That was in 2009. I did the roof raise, and then again it sat for another 9 years until about 4 years ago I started reconverting it. And Carolyn, who I met right at the time as I started deciding that I was going to finish the bus up, and I said, look, I'm going to build this bus and I want to go travel in it. Like, what do you think? What was your first thoughts?
And I at first thought he was crazy. I said, oh my gosh, I've never thought about living in a bus. I didn't grow up with the RV lifestyle, so it was very unfamiliar to me, and I thought he was definitely a little bit loopy. However, I said, hey, if this is your dream, I will support you in doing it, and I will go if you make it look nice. If you make it look like something like the Four Seasons, I will be in the bus with you. So he set out on that task to do that, and 3 years later, we've got our conversion.
Okay, so moving on to the kitchen is, again, the live edge. It was really important to leave all of this bark. A lot of people sand it off. I liked the color of it. And I left all of the big dents from when they strapped the logs down to the logging truck. I thought it just gave it that feel. We did stainless steel tile on the walls. It's real home tile. We put in a standard kind of sink, but we went with a really large one because we want to be able to wash the dogs in here. And if we have a baby, it would make a good spot to wash the baby in. Also the fridges, the idea was we did 2 of them. So if one of them breaks, because we do a lot of boondocking, easily replaceable, and we still have 1 fridge to kind of transfer over. And the Frigidaire was back in the day in the 50s when this bus was made, and the color is all air correct, so give it the nice feeling that we were attempting to create in the bus. They're 110 volt fridges, so we just run our inverter 24/7, and they're super low wattage, and they're very inexpensive, under 150 bucks. They both have freezers in them, little mini freezers at the top. And then we just put a little latch on them when we drive so that they don't fly open, and they work pretty good. So we did big slide out drawers, so we can get, this is basically most of all of our storage right here. So we did 2 great big ones. I manufactured some railroad spikes and made some locks because we had attempted magnets first, and magnets work great until you hit a bump, and then they don't work. So we changed over to those. We have an electric cooktop. It's 220 volts. We have a pretty large battery bank and solar system. And so 220 is really efficient. So that's what we chose to go with that. We've got a convection oven, microwave, combo, everything in it. My wife bakes lots of bread, so this thing works amazing. We got more storage down here. We went with like a retro style, old school vent cover that I kind of made to work for the cooktop vent. All of our electronics are up here, so these monitor, solar, all that good stuff. We have a 3,160 watts of solar on the roof. I got a pretty crazy sliding system, so I actually have 8 solar panels up there. When we drive, they're stationary inside, and then we hit this air switch up here, flip it out, and they slide out with air rams on top. So then we have 8 solar panels. And I did that to preserve the look of our crown. It's very round up there. It's not like a flat top bus. And I wanted to preserve that when we're driving around and stuff like that. So it came out pretty sweet. We have 17.6 kilowatts of lithium battery. I built my own Chevy Volt car battery. I reconverted it to 48 volts. We have a Magnum inverter, 4,400 watt inverter. So we got a pantry right here. And I kind of wanted a rolling door for a bedroom, and we couldn't really squeeze it in here. It's pretty round up there, so I came up with an idea of just making an extra fold out for here. So this is our bedroom door if we had some guests and we wanted a little bit of privacy. So this is our wonderful pantry. It's really humongous, and it fits a ton of food in there. And this basically is all of our food storage all in one spot. It's awesome. What else can I say? So our barn door is pretty fun. All of these holes are from the bark beetle. So we left them. We did an ultra flat water-based sealer on it so that you really can't tell that it's been clear coated, but it does have some protection. And having it slide open is just pretty fun. There's not a lot of them in buses, and I thought it was a good touch. At the bottom, we actually have dual locks. Again, had magnets on it. Magnets don't work. So we have some pins that we just drop in and lock the door in because it's pretty heavy and it's, it can move pretty easily. So you guys want to come into the bathroom, I'll show you. So this is our shower. We did the same stainless steel tile that we did in the kitchen. We actually picked the stainless steel tile in here first, and I loved it so much. I'm like, let's find a larger version and actually bring it out into the kitchen. We did some real stone shelving in here, so we have a little spot to put our stuff on. And then of course we put the Nebia by Moen shower head, which is absolutely incredible. I highly recommend it for saving water, as well as it really gets the entire shower wet in here. Also built my own little copper rod for the curtain because nothing really fit. Pretty custom for buses and stuff like that. We snuck in a little holder back here, so we have all of our little stuff kind of hiding behind everything. As well as down on the bottom, we did a concrete shower pan, and we did heated floor. So there's actually radiant heating in the bottom of the shower, and then we did a stone tile on top, which, I mean, it's heaven in here. We didn't have a lot of room in here because we wanted to make the hallway feel bigger. So we decided to kind of cramp us in the bathroom a little bit. So we went with a really small little sink. And I see a lot of buses having these, but I wouldn't recommend them. I think they're super hard to wash and not splash everywhere. So it's a bad idea. We're gonna change it at some point. Found a really cool mirror on Etsy. Took a little while, but definitely found the one that actually fits in here and kind of goes with our vibe. As well as we got some crosses behind us because we love Jesus. And it's just a bathroom. We got our controller here for the heated floor in the shower. Little shelf, again, the same pine wood. We did a little cabinet underneath for some storage. And then of course, the throne that I'm sitting on, this is like something you have never seen in a bus. So our toilet is actually a 12-volt flushing toilet. So it's got a grinder pump in it, and it actually pumps out the stuff back to our black tank.
Well, we definitely made some specific design choices during the build process. We thought about how we wanted the bathroom to look, what our priority was in terms of how big the shower was going to be. We thought about, you know, the couch that we're sitting on right now and wanting it to also fold out to a bed, so if we had guests over, we could accommodate them. We really prioritized the view in terms of having the bar and the bar stools and being able to enjoy the views that we were going to see on the road, and also the big picture window. That was huge for us. We didn't want to cover it up. We wanted to appreciate the fact that it allowed us to bring the inside out, well, the inside outside and the outside inside. So we definitely had some, you know, things in mind that we definitely wanted to achieve, including a large sink in the kitchen and, you know, a countertop that we could decorate and also use to cook on. So from the inside and the mechanical part of the bus, we definitely had an intention behind a lot of our choices.
So we did a queen size bed in here. It was really important to have lots of space for us so that it didn't feel claustrophobic. Like I see a lot of buses kind of build their walls right up to the bed. They got to climb in. We have wasted space here, and we're okay with it because it does make it feel so much bigger. We're in a bus and we're only so many square feet. The idea, I think, is to get it as big as possible. So we did some bookshelves. My wife loves to read. Again, another 12,000 BTU air conditioning and heating in the back. We kept the original back window in here because that's just part of the bus. As well as behind these panels right here is the original round or quarter round window from the outside. It looks, you know, nostalgic, but inside we covered it up so that we have more wall space. So all of our clothing, we both have a his and hers drawer. So I have mine, she has hers. It's pretty much the majority of our storage other than our hanging mini closet that we have above the washer, which is not a dryer. I don't recommend the washer dryers. We just use the washer and we hang dry. We have little clotheslines we put out and it works awesome. So we did a 16-inch roof raise. When my grandparents traveled, the bus was only a little bit higher than me. It was pretty short and it felt kind of claustrophobic. So I went up 13 inches. As well as we kept the big picture windows that my grandfather had originally installed too, but we upgraded them to a dual pane. They're made by Motion windows, and they've got a cool mirror reflective on the outside. So in the daytime, people can't see in, which we thought would work for the nighttime, but it doesn't. So we ended up having to put some shades in here so we can have some privacy at night. The hardest part about my roof raise was that there wasn't YouTube when I did this. So I did it in 2009. Nobody that I knew even had ever raised a crown bus before. So I was on my own, and I've been told by a few people that this is probably like the nicest crown raise that's out there. You have a hard time telling if it's even raised or not. So pretty stoked about that. All right, well, thanks for coming into our home and taking a look around. If you guys want to see more of what we do and the build process and some of that stuff, we have a YouTube channel. It's Crown in Style, as well as our Instagram. It's all the same. We have a TikTok. So anyways, time for you guys to get out of here.